Okay, today we're on page 3 of our Chapter 2 notes packet. Section 2.3, multiplying and dividing rational expressions. So yesterday we simplified rational expressions. So now the next operations are multiplying and dividing, and then eventually adding and subtracting will be coming up. Okay, so what we do is we factor our numerators and denominators. Again, you always factor first, and then divide out or cancel common factors to numerators and denominators. So number 1, we have x squared plus 4x divided by x squared plus 6x plus 9 times negative x minus 3 divided by 8x plus 32. So we have two rational expressions. So we go about this by factoring each numerator and each denominator. Okay, so here we go. There's a GCF here. X times x plus 4. The trinomial in the denominator. Factors of 9 that add to 6 are 3 and 3. X plus 3 times x plus 3. Times negative x minus 3. I think I'm going to pull out negative 1, right? Negative 1 is common to both those terms, so if I factor out negative 1, we have x plus 3 for our other factor. And our denominator has a GCF of 8 times x plus 4. Now, as long as we have all multiplication here, which we do, now we can look at our numerators and denominators and look for common factors, like the x plus 4 here is common. The x plus 3 in the denominator of our first expression, and the x plus 3 in the numerator of our second expression. And I believe that is it. So we multiply our numerators. X times negative 1 is negative x. And what we have left in our denominators, 8 times x plus 3. So the product of our two rational expressions here results in negative x divided by 8 times x plus 3. Remember, always factor first. Number 2, we're going to factor the trinomial of the first numerator. The factors of negative 24 that add to 5 are 8 and negative 3. So this is x plus 8 times x minus 3. And our denominator is the difference of two perfect squares, x plus 4 times x minus 4, times our next rational expression. Numerator, factors of negative 40 that add to 6, 10, and negative 4. So x plus 10 times x minus 4. And our denominator, factors of negative 21 that add to 4 are positive 7 and negative 3. Okay, so what's common? X minus 3, x minus 3. X minus 4, x minus 4. And that happens to be all that's common. So we're left with x plus 8 times x plus 10 in our numerator, and x plus 4, and x plus 7 for our denominator. And that cannot be factored or simplified any further. So that's complete. Next, number 3, factoring GCF to our first numerator is x squared times x minus y. Denominator, we have a y squared times y minus x, times our second numerator, there's a y in common, x plus 1, and denominator, another y, x plus y. Divide out common factors. The y's here divide out. the x minus y, y minus x, recognize those as being opposites. So I'll divide them out and write a -1. And that's it. That's all that factors out. So our end result is x squared times x plus 1. Let me go back and put the negative out in front so we don't forget it. And y squared times x plus y. Number 4, we're multiplying 3 rational expressions. Follow the same rules, right? You are factoring first. Difference of two perfect squares. X plus 5 times x minus 5. X minus 3, the denominator does not factor, so we just copy it. Our second fraction here, GCF of 6 times x plus 2. Trinomial, factors of 10 that add to 7. 2 and 5, x plus 2 times x plus 5, times our last rational expression here. Numerator does not factor, denominator has a GCF of 4, 4 times x minus 5. Okay, now that everything is factored, divide out common factors that are common to numerator and denominator. X minus 5 and x minus 5. X plus 2's divide out, x plus 5's divide out. And there's one more thing that can reduce. The 6 and 4, dividing each by 2, reduces to 3 and 2. So our final answer, 3 times x plus 3 over 2 times x minus 3. Right? These are not opposites. If we had a 3 minus x in the numerator, they would be opposites. Okay, now with dividing, we're simply going to multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. All right, so we take our first rational expression, that stays as it is. We change division to multiplication, and we write the reciprocal, or flip that second fraction. So now we just have a multiplication problem. So now we go about it just as we did above. We factor numerator, factor denominator, divide out common factors. GCF here of the numerator is x. 2x plus y is the other factor. GCF x squared. X plus y times difference of two perfect squares, that dots, x plus y times x minus y. GCF y, x minus y. Divide out common factors to numerator and denominator. So the x minus y's divide out. The x plus y's divide out. And this x in the numerator divides out with one of those. So we have 2x plus y for a numerator over xy. Next, number 2. Okay, and we know we're going to change this to multiplication, right? So instead of rewriting it with the reciprocal, I'm going to factor in the same step when we can factor. All right, so this did not factor at all, so I'm just writing y plus 2 divided by y minus 1. Now the numerator here, GCF for y minus 1, and the denominator GCF of 3y, y minus 2. Dividing out common factors. The y minus 1's, and then just these y's. So our end result, 4 times y plus 2 divided by 3 times y minus 2. Okay, hopefully you corrected me. No, Miss Montalbano, this isn't y minus 2, it's y plus 2. All right. So they divide out. Let me correct this. There we go. That's better. 4/3. Now that is correct. Next, number 3. We have this division. Going to change it to multiplication. And we're going to write the reciprocal of the fraction. So what I'm thinking for the numerator is the factors of 6 that add to -7, -6, and -1. And for our denominator is now the factors of -12 that add to -4, -6, and +2. Now for our first expression, the trinomial here, factors of -2 that add to 1 are +2 and -1. And the factors of -3 that add to +2 are +3 and -1. All right, so we have everything factored. Divide out common factors. The x minus 6's divide out. The x minus 1's. X plus 2's. And we're left with x minus 1 over x plus 3. Okay, and our last one for today. Change this division to multiplication. I'll take my time with this. So now I invert simply the fraction that follows that. But this is already multiplication, so that one remains as it is. Let's just copy it. And let me go back and copy our first fraction. Okay, so we have all multiplication. Now we go about factoring. Difference of two perfect squares, x plus 6 times x minus 6. For the denominator, we have some work to do, right? We have to multiply. 2 times 18 is 36. I'm going to try to do this off to the side here. And the factors of 36 that add to -15 are -12 and -3. All right, so I've got my fraction bar. It's a side step. Lead coefficient was 2. 2x minus 12, 2x minus 3. 2 divides into the 2x minus 12. It goes in x minus 6 times, so I'll bring that over here, x minus 6. And the other factor, 2x minus 3, I'll bring over. Okay, so we've simplified the first, or sorry, I've factored both numerator and denominator of our first rational expression, times difference of two perfect squares, 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 3. The trinomial factors of -12 that add to 4 are +6 and -2. And our last fraction here does not factor. Let's go through and divide out common factors. 2x minus 3's divide out. The 2x plus 3's divide out. X minus 6, x minus 6, x plus 6, x plus 6. And notice x minus 2 and 2 minus x, they are opposites. So this whole thing simplifies to -1. And that completes our Page 3 of our notes.